And then as well as Carl Wilkinson, who's a pretty not Carl.
Is that
Wilkinson.
the boss?
Not Carl Wilkinson. Sorry, it's Tom Wilkinson. Carl Wilkinson played Jean Valjean in Les Mis.
What's that movie? Is it ahead? I'll ask her later 'cause she'll say I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen It podcast. This is the podcast where we bring people on the show and we get them really drunk and they tell me about a movie that I've never seen before. That's right. Today we have a very special guest. She's here. She's loud. She's TayLynn, KW, singer-songwriter here in Will's basement.
Yeah, I think you forgot to introduce me.
Fuck, do you want to start over?
No, you don't get a go. You don't get a do-over. You
Damn
forgot
it.
to introduce me.
I'm sorry, I got
So that's how
distracted
we're
by the woo.
This is how we get started now. This is how we start this episode.
Sorry, I got distracted by
That's how
the
it is.
woo.
And I'm Will.
Will's
Sorry for the woo.
I always wanted to start with "and I'm Will." It's the magic that the people want. Yeah.
Got him.
We do got him. Today we got many things going on. Many things on the table at least. There's a few different colors. Colors, why? I genuinely don't know. But we are talking, of course, about a movie. What's the movie we're talking about?
The movie we're talking about is
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Means nothing to me.
it doesn't.
It
no.
literally means not a thing to me.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Written by Charlie Kaufman, directed by Michel Gondry,
Okay.
who's a man.
So maybe it's not Michelle.
Michelle.
It's probably
It's
Michelle.
Michelle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to respect that. Yeah. So I genuinely, okay. So as we have done in some previous episodes, we listen to the soundtrack. We listen to the soundtrack so that we can get a feel for the movie. I listened to the soundtrack, and what I noticed was there was a song on there that I don't really remember, but I remember looking it up, and that's the only reason why I know what this movie is. Like many, many years ago when I was an angsty teenager, I think I looked up a certain song, and on the YouTube, I saw clips of this movie, and I was like, oh, it's a Jim Carrey comedy. Cool. But since then, I've been corrected that this is not a comedy.
No,
No.
I
Not
wouldn't
even a
call this
little?
I mean, yeah, but it's not. I would not even. I don't know. I guess you could call it a dramedy, but I wouldn't classify it that either.
I think it's only a comedy if you're like haven't
If you're watching
dealt
it for
with
the
a
first time,
situation like such.
Okay, so I know it's about a relationship.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I know Jim Carrey's in it. And
It's
I
heavy.
just had the thought today, who's the actress? Is it
Kate
Titanic
Winslet.
lady?
Yeah,
It is Titanic.
it's Titanic, lady.
It's
We're doing a double
Rose, baby.
Kate Winslet bill.
Yeah. Couldn't recognize her though.
Katie.
Yeah. That's I'm serious. I don't know. I thought this was a happy movie
Nah.
when I first saw the clips and heard the title. I was like, oh,
Well, it
sounds
sounds
light.
It's eternal. It's
Sunshine.
very romantic.
Oh, is that what
Sunshine
that
is
That's
happy.
positive.
You know.
Eternal
Spotless
Sunshine?
Mind.
Yeah.
That's where it
I definitely
takes
thought
a
it was a
10.
super indie film,
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It
But
is
Jim-
a super indie film.
but everybody knows what it is. So could it possibly be like
Well,
a
it's
hipster
It's definitely
film?
not mainstream though. Like there's people like it's more often than not they're not gonna know what it is if you bring it up. I find.
No, I mean,
Brought
yeah,
it up and people are like, what?
it's a
What's
cult. It's a cult classic.
Mm.
Okay, okay, I can jive with that
Yeah.
because I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's one
Oh,
I have
shit.
seen.
Yeah, that's the one you have.
That's the only one I've seen. You guys want to know what movies I watch? Just that one on repeat every day.
TayLynn, when did you first watch this movie? Or do you remember the
I
first time
think
you
I
watched
first watched this movie probably in like grade 6.
That
Something like
seems young
Pretty young.
for such a heavy movie.
It is a pretty heavy movie.
Yeah, I was in my friend's basement and we always just raided her parents' DVDs and watched horrifying things at a young age.
And here we are.
And here we are, and now it's one of my faves. So
What about you, Will? When did
Yeah,
you
when
watch
did you
this?
watch
Oh,
it?
I mean, other than Friday, I watched it years ago and totally forgot most of it, which is very.
So I've heard.
It's very, yeah, it's very like.
I've
It's
heard
hard
that
to remember.
memory
It's a jumble.
Okay, but also that memory in general is a thing with this movie.
Oh, I would say so. Yes.
Is this in the future?
No.
Is it real time?
It's probably like early 2000s.
Yeah, it's based. No, it is. It's actually 2003. It's in the movie.
In the movie.
Yeah. So it's not based in the future, but there's like
Futuristic
fictional,
elements.
fictional technology elements.
All right.
But TayLynn, why do you love this movie so much? Because you said you've watched it.
I've watched it a few times.
Yeah.
I love it because it's just one of those movies, kind of like a Donnie Darko or something like that, where it's kind of a mind fuck and like there's layers to it and it's emotional, it's heavy. It's like one of those ones you get the feels a little bit.
Yeah, like I when I watched it, I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is a confusing movie.
Yeah.
Kind of. No, it's not like crazy confusing, but
It's jumpy,
But it's
like-
way more confusing than like all my high school buddies made Inception out to be.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, everyone was like,
everyone's like, oh my
dude,
God.
Inception is so confusing. And then you're
Really?
like, and then
You
you're
watch it,
like,
you're
you
like-
watch this movie, you're like, no, this is a hard to follow movie
This
sometimes.
one, it's like I feel like the first time I really got it was today. Like when I watched it
Okay,
again, I was
so-
like, I gotta really pay attention, and I really understood it more. I was like, damn.
So you think they allow the audience to like figure it out more, basically?
They definitely do.
For sure, yeah. There's a lot of cool, and we'll get to it, but there's a lot of cool set design tricks and like special effects that are so minimal that they're like beautiful almost. It's really great.
I gotta watch this movie.
You should.
I
It's good.
haven't even talked plot yet, but I just feel like the
Oh, it's
mind
just
fuck and the
so
confusion
good.
alone. Okay.
Well, maybe after we record, we'll throw it on. We'll watch it.
Apparently it's
Got
short.
an hour and a half.
We'll get an hour and a half. So hopefully this podcast is only an hour and 45.
We're gonna
Yeah.
try it. We're gonna see what happens.
Well, we haven't even got to the plot yet.
But yeah, well that all being said.
Well, before we begin,
Oh yeah, your drink.
I have made a drink for this movie.
my
Will's
Like every
pride
episode.
and joy.
It is my pride and joy. So I like to call this drink the Vindictive Little Bitch,
Oh,
I don't get it.
aka Clementine.
What?
okay.
And Lenka doesn't know. So
She is a lot to deal with.
So
Who is
originally,
This is a girl.
I wanted to create a layered drink that was multicolored, but it just mixed into a green baby poop swamp water.
Which we have a version of on the table.
Which
So-
I am drinking a lot of.
So instead, we made four separate drinks. One is orange juice and vodka.
Well, these are more shots. They're much more like shots.
They're more like shots, but
Yeah.
we will drink them sparingly throughout the time if we remember when
try.
these colors come up. The second is a cranberry and whiskey. The third is blue sourpuss,
That's it.
which I think it also works with the movie. And
Does
the
it?
last one is a green melon liqueur. So we
It's-
got red, blue, green, and orange, which are the colors of the main character's hair throughout the movie.
So is her name Clementine?
Yeah.
And you just said she's a lot.
She's a lot.
Okay.
Right.
I'm nervous.
So that's our drink.
I'm ready.
Well, we'll just start with sipping on the blue drink because that's the
Cheers.
hair color of Clementine the first time we meet her as an
Clem.
audience.
Is that her nickname?
Clem.
Clem or Tangerine.
What? I already don't like this.
You're
All
gonna
right.
be mad confused because we've seen it and we're confused.
I think we'll keep it. I think we can keep
We'll do
on
our
track.
best. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
TayLynn, you start us off. How does this movie start?
Okay. So we're in a world where Jim Carrey is in his bedroom.
And he looks hella depressed.
He looks hella depressed. He
Okay.
wakes up. It's the old turning off the alarm clock in disdain, just not happy about getting up. And he goes out to his car and some dipshit swiped the side of his car. So that's kind of the start to his morning.
Day.
Yeah,
Start
it's like
to
a
his day.
big scrape on the side of his
Yeah,
car.
like
Nice.
it's massive. It's like the whole door.
Gone.
So he writes a little thank you note and moves on. That's the type of guy he is. He writes a passive aggressive thank you, puts it on the guy's dash,
the car next to him.
Yeah,
he
the
knows
guy
that it was this
obviously
guy.
probably hit him.
Okay.
Probably hit him. Then he goes to the train station.
Yeah, so he gets to the train station, and I believe we're in kind of rural New York, but like just outside of like the main core, I would
Okay.
believe.
Yeah, there's like a beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's waiting for the train to presumably go to work, and he sees that the train on the other side of the tracks is going to Montauk. And for some reason, he just feels like he's going to skip work, and he hops onto the train to Montauk.
And he even says, like, I am not impulsive. Like,
To
it's
himself?
Not, yeah, like he narrates the beginning kind of thing.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm standing there. Today's Valentine's Day. It's a day designed to make you feel like shit. And yeah, then he runs to the other train, and then he like squeezes in the door, and he says how he's not impulsive. He doesn't know why he did it.
And he's still, I mean, Jim Carrey's still very much Jim Carrey in this movie in a lot of ways. Like,
Still has, like, the
Okay.
and he's like,
physical
yeah, he's like
humor.
running towards the train with his
Like
big
all of
flappy
his
arms.
limbs
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
He's all
Lanky.
limbs.
Oh man,
He's-
I loved him.
And this is like there was this, and then I believe Rocket Man was around the same time. These are like serious Jim Carrey movies.
What's that one?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that one.
That's the movie, the biopic about Andy Kaufman, who's a famous.
Oh
comedian.
yes,
Oh,
I know about
fuck.
that.
And then
Okay,
there's a
okay.
recent documentary
Sorry.
that shows the behind the
Yes,
scenes of Jim
yeah,
Carrey
I know what that is.
becoming
Okay.
him.
He like literally,
Gotcha.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, but I mean, he's amazing in this movie. He's always been a great dramatic actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's on the train to Montauk.
Yeah, and now when he gets there, it's like a beach. He goes to this big beach, but mind you, it's winter time. It's like cold out,
February.
Sickening.
It's Valentine's Day.
which I
That's
love too
sick.
because movies rarely ever are in the winter.
That's
they just
true.
make everything perfect.
But yeah, they always just
Yeah.
make it like a spring or summer movie. They never show in the winter, mostly because filming in the winter
it
is god awful.
sucks.
Like it's terrible, so they try not to do that. But like when you're doing indie
Right.
film, that's like
all
it's
you
almost
can
like
do.
every indie film is in the winter.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's
shit.
all we could afford.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes to this beach, and he doesn't know what compelled him to go to this beach, but this
What
is
does
what
he though?
he doesn't. He doesn't.
doesn't
at all.
know.
No,
Are we sure?
maybe subconsciously,
see.
but you'll see.
I think I have a hinge.
And we
A hunch.
get-
a hinge hunch.
We
Hang
get to the
on.
beach, and we see at the end of the beach, who do we see?
Clementine rocking it.
What is
She is actually singing that. She's like singing the whole.
She's singing? Oh fuck! You guys could have said that and been like, okay, right?
That's the greatest thing about this podcast. We could say anything,
Say whatever we want.
And-
Lie to you.
and Alenka will believe that
I
that's
will
what happens in the
absolutely
movie.
believe it. And then I'll tell people about it later. Be like, have you heard of this fucking movie?
There's a sex show on the beach right when he gets there.
It's wild.
But we see Clementine. This is the first time we see her. She's on the beach. Kate Winslet
Yep.
of Titanic
Tight
hair
and
nose.
many
color?
other movies. And her hair color is blue.
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 Blue. Cheers to
Cheers.
Okay.
Her hair color is blue the first time we see her.
that. Mm-hmm.
Like the ocean.
With roots, mind you.
with roots.
Yeah,
Okay,
like it's kind of
very
the tail end of her blue.
hair peeps.
Yeah.
hair
With
piece.
roots.
Come on.
And she's like, so I'm trying to remember. I mean, I think like Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's is probably like the original
Haven't
manic
seen it.
pixie dream girl.
Okay.
But
Oh,
this is
alright.
like one of the big manic pixie dream girl.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
mean, manic
Like a
pixie
Tumblr
dream
hit.
girl? What are you saying?
Meaning like the
Like a Tumblr
quirky,
person.
the quirky,
Oh, I was gonna
weird girl
say-
with mental health issues
Yeah.
that every movie did.
Hold
right?
on. Audrey Hepburn's like that in Breakfast at
No, but I
Tiffany's?
would say like
She's
she's
like-
lifted up as one of as a similar vein as like Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Like she seems like
Okay.
she's very independent, but she's really just holding on by a thread.
Right. That's a great way of describing that too.
Right?
Okay, I understand this person now. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's, you know,
True.
quirky and kind of like gets in your personal space. And
Right,
Jim Carrey is
right.
very much like reserved and
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
like his character is
True.
not very outgoing in that way.
Pretty antisocial, pretty like go to work, come home,
Mm-hmm.
get your car swiped. That's your exciting
Yeah.
part of the day kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. And then so the next scene, they're on the train. They get on the train.
Both of them.
Because
Together?
they're the only people on the beach.
So they make eye contact.
I remember one part he goes, when he sees her on the beach, he's like, why can't I talk to any woman that I make eye contact with or something like that? Like they saw each other, but he just keeps walking because that's just the type of dude he is. He's
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna not do anything with this given opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's just his vibe.
Okay.
And then Clementine, on the other hand.
Yeah, Clementine.
Clementine.
Yeah.
So I said.
Yeah, so they're on the train and she's like sitting in front of him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just like immediately turns around.
Quick stop. This train is not like a subway train.
No, it's like a.
Okay,
it's like a.
I was thinking of a train. I
no,
got it. It's
well,
like,
you lived in New York, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the train to Jersey or
like
something.
the
Like
LIR.
yeah.
Cool.
So that's so they're on the train. She turns around and she talks about, she recognizes him and that he shops
You were
at
that one man on the beach.
but
Yeah.
she recognizes him from Barnes and Noble.
How did
she's
he
a
not-
book slave there?
So how did he not see her though? She's got blue ass hair.
Well,
That's part of the
that's part of the
script.
plot.
What the fuck?
So she's like, and he's like, oh yeah, I go there a lot, but I don't feel like I remember you. And they kind of have this quirky conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, oh, I change my hair a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, and she's like, that's why you might not recognize me.
Okay. Oh, so it's one of those. Ew. Is it one of those gross, awkward like?
It's so awkward, eh?
Ew.
It's sort of, yeah, like he's very like shy and
He's
she's
like,
just
I
kind of
don't
all
wanna
in
hear,
his
but-
space. But this is where, and then
Okay.
she tells him her name is Clementine. And then she sings a song like, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. You were lost and found forever.
She sings that whole song.
She's
Not-
like, don't joke about my name.
Yeah,
and
she's
he
like, I hear it
doesn't
all the
even know
time.
it.
And she doesn't even know. He doesn't even know,
He doesn't
the,
know the
song.
song.
No.
All right, cool.
So, which is very important.
And then
later,
she
you'll
sings
know.
it for him.
Yeah.
She's like, well, here it is, so you can make fun of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No jokes about my name.
And then she says, but you should know I'm a vindictive little bitch.
Okay.
Hence the drink.
Hence the
Okay.
drinks.
All right.
Mm.
Why does she just say that out of the blue?
Because she's got mental health issues.
Oh, okay,
She's
got you.
wild.
She's
She's
okay.
fucking wild.
Cool. Okay. And his reaction to that is
To be kind of awkward and still quiet, but
Okay.
he doesn't know why, but he's still like drawn to her. And, like,
Yeah, he's warming up to her.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say,
right.
At
Okay.
this point.
And I believe, do we skip ahead or are we still with them on this particular point?
I don't know. It's such a confusing movie.
I can't remember if we go.
It jumps a lot.
I can't remember if we go ahead or we go to that scene
Maybe
on the ice.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, and then there's one point where like she's walking and he's like, I'll drive you home, and then they go to her house.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that might be kind of next.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
so
after the
jumpy.
night though. Remember they had a night
Oh,
together.
okay. So it is the ice.
Yeah, they
What?
they basically hang out all day together. And then it goes to this scene. Now her hair's different though, right?
So in this
No, it's the
next
same.
scene-
No, never mind. It's the same.
Blue when they're on the ice.
It's still blue. Yeah, yeah. So they go
Okay.
to like this lake.
They
on
do
the
that
ice.
probably
That's
so the
true,
audience
so you know
is-
what point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
blue.
True.
It is blue.
I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that.
And they
Gotcha.
go to this like ice patch in the middle of the night and they're hanging out. And
He's timid, just typical of his character. He's like, "Oh, it's gonna break. It's gonna break."
The
She's like,
ice.
"There's layers."
like onions. Does
Yeah.
it turn
Yeah.
into Shrek?
Yeah. There's
Um,
layers. It's fine.
and they lay and they talk
They
about
lay
how-
in the ice.
They lay on the ice.
Actually,
I've seen
fun
The poster
fact,
of the movie.
Fun
I've
fact:
seen this.
Mac Miller sampled that scene in one of his songs on one of
Ooh.
his.
What do they say?
EPs.
What's the sample?
It's called Macadelic. It's the part where he's like, "I could die right now, Clem." Like this is kind of where they like, I don't know if you'd say fall in love, but they profess their love in a way.
All right, and this is their first day together.
They just felt so comfortable together, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh.
Like they
Mhm.
just knew that's what it was. And like he was like, I could die right now. I've never been this happy in my life.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Okay,
they're vibing.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
vibing on the ice, probably freezing. Losers
Yeah.
on Valentine's
But
Day.
they're in love.
Yeah. So it's like the next morning and he's like driving her home. And when they get no.
Do they
Wait.
spend the night together then?
Wait, there's a scene where she goes to his place, right? Or he goes up to her place?
So he goes to drop her off and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to go get my toothbrush."
No, but remember at nighttime they're like and she like makes the joke about like let's But is this later? I can't. I'm
I think that's
forgetting.
I think that's next. Yeah.
Is that next after? But like after. Okay. So
Yeah.
So
it's
he drives
such a
her home.
confusing movie.
So he
But
dri-
not next but after.
Yeah. He drives her home, and she's like, "Can I sleep at your place? Like to get some sleep? I'll go grab my toothbrush."
Yeah.
She runs out,
Does sound like a vindictive little bitch.
And then
she knew she had him.
and then
Bitch.
and then he's sitting in the car waiting for her, and Elijah Wood walks up to the
Just
window,
walks past.
Fucking
and
Elijah
he
Wood.
and he knocks on the window, and he rolls it down. And he goes, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, and then Elijah Wood just walks away, and then we cut.
That's
Key
weird.
point.
Yeah.
Key point.
It's a key
What?
point. It's a weird moment. You're like, why is Elijah Wood here?
Yeah.
Why is he asking? Why is he here?
Yeah.
Um,
What the fuck?
So that's where we cut, and we jump ahead. We jump somewhere.
Okay.
in time.
we jump somewhere. This
Okay.
movie is all over
So now-
the place.
So now we jump to Valentine's Day. And yeah, it's Valentine's Day.
It was Valentine's Day the first time. It's Valentine's Day again.
It's the same day. think.
So it's Valentine's. No, yeah, it's Valentine's Day, and he goes to. It's like he just came back from summer, and he's really sad. And they broke up. Him and
Okay.
Clementine broke up, and it's been
Mhm.
a relationship for a while. We can
Okay.
tell it's like in the future. It's in the future,
All right.
and his neighbor says, "Oh, what are you and Clem doing for Valentine's Day?" Like his like apartment neighbor. They
And
know
he's like,
each other. And he's kind of just like kind of sad and angry. Doesn't say anything but he doesn't know they broke up. And then it's kind of this awkward moment. And he ends up going. He's up in his apartment, and this is where it kind of starts getting weird because we see scenes in his apartment with some people, and then we kind of flash to a different house with I believe it's his
friends.
Is his friends or is it like his sister or
Yeah, it's like somebody he's known for a while. Like
yeah,
a
it's
couple.
it's a couple and they're friends. David Cross is one of the people in it.
Okay.
And he's venting about Clementine. He's upset that they're broken up.
And I feel like the female was kind of surprised, or seemed like it was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh, like you'll move on, but kind of at the same time, like, this is weird.
Yeah.
They were like a match in heaven.
Yeah. And then David Cross decides he's going to tell him the truth or whatever.
What?
So he pulls out of the drawer an envelope and he hands it to him.
What?
This part's intense.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is when the movie starts to.
Wait.
This is when you realize that this is not a normal movie.
Okay.
This is not your typical.
They're with
movie.
a couple. He's with a couple. The girl is like,
Later that night. Sort of
okay,
thing, yeah.
sure. She's like, I'm confused, but it's fine. And then, but the whole time David Cross is stewing, and he's like, I gotta tell him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
'Cause
she
everyone
doesn't know at
knows.
all.
Yeah.
Girl does know or does not know.
She knows too.
comforting.
Yeah.
She
This
does.
couple knows what's coming.
Yeah, because I guess the
Okay.
company reach out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say it
So
again
they
to
got-
me.
They
What
got
have you
sent this
heard?
letter,
Okay.
and basically what it says is
Pull it up.
wait,
pull it
well,
up.
I don't know exactly, but I'm just trying to get her name, the full name. It basically says that it's from this company called, what's the company called?
It's intense.
Oh, Lacuna.
Lacuna.
It's from Lacuna Inc.
Lacuna Inc.
And it says, please note that Clementine Krasinski, that's her full name, Clementine,
Sure.
has elected to have all of her memories erased of Joel Barish. That's Jim Carrey's name. And all of their memories of
All
Joel,
the memories.
all the memories of Joel Barish erased from her memory. Please do not mention the relationship to her.
So they send stuff to everyone that knows people so that they don't remind them when they've had this procedure done. They don't know. Like when they wake up, they don't know.
They send it to
Right.
people connected to their memories of the
But
relationship.
that's not an easy way to like you can't actually mandate that. You can't actually that's not realistic at all. You can't be like, well of course no one's going to tell this person.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of part of the movie too. There's
Yeah,
a
it's
whole
like a weird
There's a whole like
movie.
ethical business part of the movie too.
What?
It's a weird movie.
So he reads this and he's like, "What? No, this isn't real." And I
Yeah, he's
think
like,
before
what does that even
and
mean?
before this though, we do get a flash of Joel at the bookstore, and Clementine looks at him like she doesn't
She
even
doesn't
know him.
And they have been
And he says it to the couple. It's like she didn't even know me. She was like, It's like, and then she was there
And
with
he
some
was
younger guy.
confused. Yeah, and some
yeah,
younger
yeah.
dude was there.
So they didn't actually like.
Elijah Wood.
Oh, so
We
they
don't
didn't
know that
actually-
yet, though. We don't know that
But
yet.
they didn't actually break up then. Like they didn't say the words to each other then.
It doesn't-
She's just been cold. To
I
her.
think they might have been like on a little
Or-
bit of a break or something. Like
Okay.
it hadn't, but he decided to get something for Valentine's Day, and
Oh,
she basically ignored him.
And
Okay.
Clementine's impulsive.
all right.
Yeah.
It's the type of shit she does.
Fucking bitch.
So basically, Joel decides he's going to Lacuna Inc., like the office of this doctor or the doctors there, because to confront them and to make sure it's not like he still thinks it's like a practical joke. But he gets there, and there we meet Kirsten Dunst, who's in this movie.
Okay.
Very young Kirsten Dunst,
Little
My
baby.
gran hates her.
like as a
With
person.
passion.
Why?
As an actress. Fucking hates her. Any movie she's in, she's like, yeah, I love the movie, but Kirsten Dunst was in it.
Oh my god. Just for no
hates her so
reason.
much. I don't know why. I think she just
That's
She gets annoyed by
why?
faces, like, I don't
She's
know.
like America's sweetheart.
Not
to
grand sweetheart.
not to Nan.
Not Tanan.
Jesus.
Anyway.
we meet her.
Poor Nan.
We meet another kind of doctor or technician there.
Yeah, what's that dude's name? He's
Mark
in 13
Ruffalo.
going, yeah,
Oh.
13 going on 30. He's
Oh yeah.
He's
that's a
also
good
the
one.
Hulk in Avengers.
He's a lot
Well,
of stuff.
but 13 going on 30.
but very
so
young Mark
very
Ruffalo.
cool.
Very like his voice is so much higher in this movie than it is in anything else
Amazing.
I've seen him in, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird. So.
I want to ask about her hair color at this point because it was blue when we first met her. It's blue still,
It's still kind of in blue all the times we've seen her. I don't believe we've seen
We haven't
any other
seen
scenes.
anything yet.
No.
but time has passed.
Yes.
But her hair changes a lot.
It does. It
And-
kind of, so this movie at this point becomes a mix of many different timelines. So he goes to the Lacuna, he confronts, he gets told that yes, she erased him from her memory,
Okay.
and that he can't tell him many details other than that she was very unhappy.
Hmm.
This is the main doctor guy. He gets very angry and basically leaves and decides and then this is where we start seeing some flickers of different memories of their relationship.
Okay.
Mhm.
And now I don't know if we can't really pinpoint exactly what the hair color is in all these different ones, but generally it flickers between, I find the memories flicker between red and orange.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the green and blue are the ones that really like, at what point it is.
I feel like the green and blue was like when they were together,
Yeah.
and the red and orange was like
Memories.
the unexplainable.
Yeah. The green and blue are
Things.
kind of like the real memories, and the red and orange are more about like their relationship status and then what happens. But we'll see. So after mulling it over, after we see some different kind of memories of them happy, them fighting, them different kind of things, he decides that he also wants to get rid of her and his memory as well.
Okay. All right.
And also, like, just to throw it out there, I feel like the way they paint the relationship, it looks like it's like hard, but you can tell that they really, really love each other.
Okay.
Like, it's not so much that they got to know each other and they loved each other. It's like it was like an instant thing where they both just felt so comfortable
Hmm.
instantly. So they were almost like, would you say like codependent at
Yeah.
the beginning?
I feel like this movie is like an example of like the worst toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like two people
But
who
you
don't really
feel
know
for
who
them.
they are
Yeah.
themselves
totally.
and have many problems that none of them can help each other with.
Totally.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Classic. We've all been
And
Basically-
there.
we hear more about that later
Yeah.
when they're talking about memories.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys saying that with weird faces.
It-
I don't know.
Yeah. This movie's like Cats. So much memory.
Cats?
Well, you don't know anything, do you?
What are Oh,
That song from Cats.
I haven't seen
Cats
that
reference.
movie or that musical, and
I
I'm
haven't seen the
surprised
movie.
you know that.
Cats reference.
Okay, I thought that was Gone with the Wind or something.
So
So
he goes back to the office and they're gonna get started. He's basically he's the doctor. It's kind of a voiceover, almost tells him like he's got to clear out all the memories of her life, put them in garbage bags, everything, right? That are her
like
memories.
as like a thing that he's doing.
Yeah,
Anything
like
that's a
journal,
visual.
yeah, journal
Reminds
entries,
him of-
pictures,
Oh,
everything.
this is physical.
Yeah,
He's-
physical
okay,
out of his
physically. I see.
apartment, sort of thing.
So he's like
Um,
2 bags and he's sitting in the waiting room.
Yeah,
There's other people in the waiting room with like boxes, like
Bags.
they just quit their job at the office kind of vibes.
Got you.
yeah, and so we get started. He gets in this like big, it's like a dentist chair almost with a big like brain helmet that they put on him, and then that's where the fucky shit begins.
That's when you realize it's not your typical rom-com.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is when and not your typical like narrative. Like you kind of are like, so far you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. There have been like clear like, oh, this is in the past. This is like a memory or something,
Mm-hmm.
but like in a more movie fashion. But
Yeah,
once
yeah.
he gets in the chair and they're starting the process, the whole thing goes out of whack.
It's more of like a sci-fi twist that you kind of weren't expecting.
Okay. Yeah.
because-
that makes
Thought it was
sense.
gonna be like the Notebook or some shit,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then it turns into like brain scans.
So suddenly we're in a scene where outside of Joel's apartment.
Okay.
He like is suddenly he's in his chair, but then he's also in his own
in his
apartment.
apartment.
Okay.
And he's got a package and it has pajamas and it's got these pills, and he like rips open the pajamas, puts them on, takes
Because he
the
can't wear
pills.
his normal jammies because they remind him of Clementine.
Oh,
So they
okay.
gave him like
New
the new ones, and
jams.
the pills obviously, I guess, continue the.
They like
Right.
knock him out.
effects.
They knock him
Yeah.
out basically.
Okay.
So he lays in his bed, and then we see Mark Ruffalo and Elijah Wood, the Elijah Wood character,
Mhm.
get out of this van with all his equipment and go into his apartment, and we find out like this is actually the process. So he's actually not in the doctor's office chair with a helmet on. Or no, he did do that. It's a weird
It's,
thing.
you don't
the
even.
next
None of us
step.
know.
It's like that. That's a memory, but not really.
Yeah,
Basically,
okay.
they go into his apartment. They put the helmet on him in his own apartment, and they
Okay.
work on him in his own apartment while he's sleeping.
so
with
that
these
when
pills.
he wakes up, he doesn't think anything of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he
He
wouldn't even
doesn't
have to
know.
go home or
Yeah,
anything.
no, he doesn't know that
right.
he had the memories.
That makes sense
wiped.
because if
Yeah.
you were leaving the building in which you had memories wiped,
Yeah,
and
they
you'd
wiped that
be
memory.
like,
Yeah.
well, obviously I did something.
So
that
they
makes sense.
they do it in his own home, and at that whole point they pack up and leave. So they start the process, and then suddenly we're back in.
But
the,
Elijah Wood is one of the dudes,
Elijah Wood is one of the dudes.
Okay.
He like works there, sort of,
and he's
a
seeing
technician.
Clementine.
He helps.
Oh no, probably. Oh, okay.
We'll see. We get to that. We get to that.
Alright. Okay.
So now
God,
this
we're
is
good.
I know.
God, we're good.
Yeah.
This is where it starts getting fucky. So it's basically they start him in his bed, but then we go back. He then is now standing in the doctor's office, seeing himself in the weird chair. So now this is where he is
Fuck.
watching. He's in his own memories
Oh,
as they get erased. So now it's no longer like this is what happened. It's more like now it's him in his own memories commenting on what happened.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And his commentary is
A lot of different things. This is where we're probably not going to be able to
This
go
is hard to
chronologically in the
Regurgitate
movie
that.
what is happening.
explain. Yeah, it's
Okay.
hard to explain this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just like they go to a lot of different moments in the relationship.
Mhm.
They're just like trying to erase.
All
They're
over,
just
yeah.
erasing different things. And then it seems like the scene plays out normally. Like it's Clementine and Joel talking, having an argument, doing whatever. But then there's comments, and then eventually, well, I guess we should slow it down.
Yeah. Well, like eventually the settings, like the homes or, wherever they're at, starts to crumble.
Okay.
Like literally
yeah.
the buildings and stuff. And like where the memories take place, like when they're on the ice laying there, like
Oh, it goes back to some of the memories we've even seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So like the settings start crumbling. So
Okay.
you can tell that these are the moments where it's not actually you watching it happening. It's you watching it be erased from his memory. 'Cause
Right.
It starts to like crumble
Go
away.
Yeah.
away. It's
And-
being erased.
And it
Yeah.
actually, all the memories, they start from reverse chronological order, basically.
okay.
It starts with like
Yeah.
the last night he saw her.
Okay.
And the last night he saw her, she came
Oh.
home basically drunk,
Mm.
said that she wrecked his car,
Oh. Dewy.
in this scene, her hair is blue.
Okay.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, her hair's blue in this scene. The last time she
Or
saw it.
orange.
Or orange. No, I think it's blue. I think it's blue.
Mhm.
Yeah, her hair's blue. This is the last time he
Okay.
saw her. And then she like wrecked his
that one.
car, and he's like basically calling her
A vindictive
irresponsible.
Essentially
You're-
calling her a slew.
Yeah.
Well, he says like he mentions how the only way she can get someone to like her is by fucking them
Whoa.
Mm.
Why does he say that?
because it's Joel's insecurities.
Oh. Ooh.
It's a heavy movie.
So
Yeah.
he. But did this what is this what
But
happened?
she's a
Has
crazy
she
girl.
cheated
like,
though?
well, no, like she
No.
she just was drunk and then he wrecked his car, and he's calling her irresponsible, and they get in an argument, and she like leaves the house.
Okay. Drunk.
Yeah, and then he gets down and he sees his car, and it's this big scrape. It looks exactly like the scrape we see at the beginning of the movie.
Oh.
so
wrecked,
like the timings.
So now we kind of
Huh.
go,
We're wondering
oh,
about the timings.
yeah,
oh
we're wondering
my
what the timeline really
God.
is.
Okay. Oh wow. Oh no. Okay. I already know. I'm gonna
Like what's going on?
And
I
then
get it.
he sort of like drives after her, and is like yelling after her, like they come back. He's kind of like
Clementine.
regretting it, like the
Mhm.
argument, and then this is also where he starts talking about that now he's kind of himself in the present.
Okay.
He's like, "You're gonna be gone soon. I'm not gonna remember this," or something.
He
like that.
knows.
Yeah,
It's this weird thing where he
it's like lucid dreaming
with-
almost.
Yeah, like within the moments he knows that
In the
they're going to be
car?
erased
in the car.
yeah, in this particular memory.
He's
Yeah,
yelling that to her.
yeah,
because he knows
Weird.
that it's going to be. It's because when he's getting it done,
It's like you're recalling watching him, but he's also living them through.
kind of, and he
So
what
also
is he,
like,
it's not
lucid
working
dreaming?
for him. Like the procedure
Oh.
is not going as smoothly on him.
Okay.
yeah.
Right?
And while he's like driving beside her while she's walking away, like some car just like comes smashing down.
Yeah,
like
it's
randomly.
not a real. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a
Oh.
real thing, but it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's running. He's chasing it, but he's running from it.
Mhm.
Mm.
And that's one of those,
Like-
and there's a lot
Ooh.
of subtle effects,
Metaphor.
like
Yeah.
a lot of blurring, and lights are kind of crazy while he's walking in. And this is how we know it's like him seeing his memories. Like the whole
As they
movie's like that,
leave.
but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
in
and then
that
it
way.
flashes to him laying there with like the headgear on
Yeah.
and everything. And then and another fun point as well is like Mark Ruffalo and the other dude,
Elijah
Yeah, Elijah Wood. Yeah,
They're like
they're like drinking
like
beers in his
partying.
apartment. Yeah,
Oh, really?
while his procedure.
So they just have the fucking shit
Yeah.
on his head. and
yeah,
they're just
like while the
"Yeah,
procedure's
fuck
going,
it."
then they invite Kirsten Dunst over.
What?
Yeah.
Start
the
wheeling
she's the
and
receptionist
dealing.
actor.
Yeah,
yeah.
Start fucking wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, so they're like, so there's like whole side plot almost going on in
Oh
in the
my
actual
God,
present, because
that's-
that's the actual
Oh,
present.
fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
So many layers of this shit.
So like
Yeah.
Kristen Dunst come over, and then she immediately lays a big kiss on Mark Ruffalo.
Oh,
They're stripping all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're on the
And
bed boogieing.
this
right beside him while he's getting his
Not
shit
actually having sex, like literally boogieing.
yeah, but
Literally.
but just before she gets there though, this is where we find out that Elijah Wood's character has fallen in love with Clementine.
Uh-huh.
Because-
Through the procedure.
Yeah, so
That's
he
sick.
he says
I
he fell in love
fucking hate
with her
him.
while she was out, like,
You
and
will
he
hate
stole
him.
his.
Ew, what a creep.
He is. He's super
stole
creepy.
her
While
panties.
she's out.
He stole her panties. And
Because they were
Jim
doing the
Carrey-
procedure on her like a week before. Right?
Yeah,
So,
and they're in her fucking home.
yeah.
Jim
What a
Carrey
sick
heard.
fuck.
So you know how the procedure doesn't work on him as well? He heard them say that.
he
Buddy
hears
took
bits
the
and
panties.
parts. Yeah.
Ew.
So then,
And
like,
he eventually
he brings
pieces
it up later.
together. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like, he stole her panties.
What the
Because
fuck?
he's
Yeah.
just like zonked,
Ew,
but
that
he's
guy's-
still
So and
half
he's
aware.
he's basically and then now that he's at Jim Carrey's apartment, he's basically using all his memories and notes on Clementine to
Ew,
win
what a
Clementine
sick
over and keep
fuck.
like
So he
yeah.
takes her to the ice.
Ew.
Yes, it makes you livid. He takes her to the ice.
Yeah, like
and
she
he says,
phones him while they're
"Clem,
doing him.
I could
she's
die
having
right here.
she's having like almost like a panic attack. She's not doing very well, and she goes, there to and he calls her Tangerine, and then in the memory
Tangerine?
Yeah.
Is that like her actual nickname, or did he fuck up her name?
No, that's Jim Carrey's nickname for her. And
Ew.
he hears it in the
He
memory
hears
and he's
it.
like, how does he know how to call you that? And it's kind of all this
But he's
weird.
zonked
What an
out
asshole.
Yeah.
for it. And then like
So then Kristen Dunst comes over and then they her and
start
Mark Ruffalo
stripping, boogieing on the bed,
and have sex like nearby while he's like
No, they're boogieing.
And then he's
No, they
like,
boogie in the bed,
in a-
and then eventually it's meant
and
to
then
they have
he's
sex.
in a moment where like they're trying to erase it, and he's like, no, like I don't want this one to be gone or whatever, and
Yeah.
they're too busy like wheeling and
Boogieing,
dealing that
yeah.
they can't even notice.
They wouldn't have even
Yeah.
done anything anyways, probably.
No, they probably wouldn't have.
That's fucked.
So yeah, so they, like all these memories are happening and they're like disappearing, kind of.
Yeah, it's like
but,
it happens and then it
but
goes
it's
away.
at this point that he's hearing things and he's decided he doesn't want to do it anymore. So
Yeah.
now his subconscious is like always trying to grab her
He's
and
resisting
chasing and,
it.
and running
Okay.
away like with her from
Right.
the erasure of these memories.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so wild.
It's a very wild movie. There's a lot to go.
There's so many different areas, and none of them go in chronological order.
Yeah,
How
well,
are we
they're-
supposed to explain
they're
this?
sort of going in reverse chronological order, but
Yeah.
yeah, but there's all these memories that show them basically just being happy together
Most
or
of them.
angry together. It's kind of
Okay.
like a reverse. They're like you start seeing all these like little cracks in their relationship, but then it kind of
But then
reverses.
it goes into
the good
better
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's sort of like an
Oh, that'd be
artist.
fucking
He like
painful.
draws pictures of her a lot too, and that's
well,
kind of part
okay,
of it.
Leo. Wow, Kate, you
Leo.
have a type.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
That's
he says like,
Ew,
I don't want
Will
this
just-
anymore. I went to call it off. Joel, hold me.
What?
I
Oh,
I
that's what
loved
she
you on this day. I love this memory. This is when they're in the woods. And this is where it gets weird. It's like they're in the memories and they both know
Oh,
that they're
being erased.
they both know
Well,
that
They both like
That
he
they're trying to
knows,
run
so
from it.
his memory
he's
of her
explaining it to her.
is
Oh.
like responding to
And
that,
that
but she
stays-
doesn't know herself because
Okay, right.
she's
But he
not
believes
actually
her
there.
Yeah.
because she's a wacky
Oh.
chick.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
believes him.
Yeah,
She's
But
like,
so then
this
his
is happening okay.
memories. So like, let's say we're on like memory like 12 out of. No, sorry. I guess it'd be like, let's say we got 12 memories to go through yet, and we're on memory 6, and he's telling her that they're running away in memory 6. So from memory 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, she's still that stays consistent. She remembers
yeah,
into those memories, even though they're going reverse chronological.
basically, yeah.
That's fucking weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And like they're in the
Alright.
woods,
So-
and then he's like, "Oh, like hold on, Clem, we gotta run because they
What?
can't be in
Yeah.
the same spot as the memory, or else it gets erased." So they keep trying to like dodge
Yeah,
this
so
surgery
what
because they're
he's-
so in love.
Right.
He's basically trying to like bring her into memories that she's wasn't originally a part of,
Oh,
because
weird.
he's hoping
Yeah.
like they won't erase
Because
memories that he remembers.
Yeah, they
Right.
won't go into his childhood because
Yeah.
they know that he didn't know her then.
Oh,
So,
So
they
there-
try to
there's-
bring her
yeah.
into his
Oh.
childhood.
So he
Oh.
brings her into, and this is a great scene. He brings her into his childhood, and he talks about, and then we had also seen a scene where he talks about his mom singing "Oh my darling, oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
darling" to
Her
him,
song.
and that he loved that song, and he would
But he didn't know the song.
no. So that's kind of important too, and it's kind of this
Yeah.
little thing they don't really kind of bring up, and you're supposed to assume.
yeah,
But he brings it into childhood, and it's like this little Jim Carrey, like
he's like under the table,
everything's like large and he's like small.
Yeah.
And she's big too, and
and she's like the mom's friend, and they just threw her in there because,
Yeah.
and
Then
then
she'll be safe.
she
or
like
something,
flashes him.
yeah,
and
because they just went from a memory of like when it was like this. It's like
He
a random
wasn't
memory
actually
of.
little though, was he?
he was like himself,
The
but
actor.
shrunken.
No, it was Jim
But
Carrey.
okay.
but
Jim
like,
Carrey
yeah.
shrunken.
But yeah, okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Because they just jumped from a memory.
Pervert.
They just jumped from a memory where like Jim Carrey like looks down at her panties and wanted to have sex with her, and that was like the memory that he had.
Okay.
And then they're
So
kind
then
of
she tries to
used
bring
that
him
like,
back.
bring him back to
Okay.
that memory. But
But they're
then,
gonna erase that one, so they want to bring in the childhood version.
Oh,
Yeah.
of it.
okay.
And then they both end up being like
In the
bathed in a
sink?
giant sink, like by his mom or whatever.
What?
It's
He's
really,
getting bath time as a baby.
yeah, basically he's like going
So
right down to
weird.
And then
being
she's
a
in there and
baby.
they're like chatting about how they're going to make it to the next stage without getting erased. Like they both
Interesting.
know it's fucked.
Yeah, and then there's also a
What
scene where
the
he
heck?
like he's getting bullied by these kids, but
Mm-hmm.
he's like a little. It's weird. He is a little kid, like it's a little kid actor.
But it's Jim Carrey.
And then it's
Oh.
Jim Carrey again.
Yeah, it flashes
and she
back
shows
and
up
forth.
she shows up as like a little girl, and
Yeah.
it keeps flashing back and forth between the adult actors and the kid
Weird.
actors, dressed up as like a pink cowgirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Do you like my hat?" And they're talking, and
yeah,
and
but
then he tries to like choke her out.
yeah, because he starts like it's like he puts a pillow on her to like choke her out, and then it flashes to a memory where they used to do that to each other for fun. It was like it's kind of a
Fucking
weird thing.
weirdos.
Like it flashed to his apartment, and they're having fun. They're like doing like I don't know, one
Like
flew over the
3
cuckoo's
seconds,
next. Like yeah, like
Okay.
how long can they
sure.
like choke like
Yeah.
It's a
suffocate
wild
each other?
couple. They're a
yeah,
wild couple.
Normal.
yeah.
It's super cute.
It's a very
That's
it's
so
a,
cute.
It's a very quirky movie.
Love
it's
a little
quirky.
pillow
Yeah,
choke.
it's definitely quirky.
Yeah.
What the
But he's doing it outside his like childhood home, and then suddenly the whole home like disintegrates, and suddenly it turns into like this farmhouse. And I believe that's like his childhood memories were like erased, or one of his childhood
Yeah,
memories.
because he put her in that, so they took that too.
And because he doesn't
shit.
remember the song, he doesn't know anything about the song.
Oh.
In that one scene,
Ooh,
we
I didn't
go,
even think of that.
we go like they kind of erase some of his
Nice,
childhood
dude.
memories
I didn't
through
even
this
know that.
process too,
Fuck.
because it wasn't.
Okay.
He's
That's good.
not supposed to be going there, but that's what happened.
Oh no.
But eventually, yeah, like
And that's, I guess, why then when she says like, "Oh, better not be Huckleberry Finn or whatever,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "I don't know that,"
I don't know what you're
because
talking
he
about.
fucking erased it.
It got erased. Yeah.
Because it's like the past and the future like live cohesively in this movie. It's
Yeah,
super
it's
weird.
very it's all one.
It's hard to understand.
So meanwhile, as all this happened in the present, Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst had like just finished having sex on the couch, and that's when Mark
Fucking sick.
Ruffalo
While
starts.
the surgery is supposed to be being monitored.
well, it's like it's a weird,
Might
it's like
I
an
add?
electro
My
process.
God.
And
The
he-
irresponsibleness of Mark Ruffalo.
irresponsible Mark Ruffalo, Kirsten Dunst.
This is probably why Nan
He's
why
not-
Nan
Nan
like
hates her.
He's not Bruce Banner,
little sleuth.
but he notices that it's not going. Like something's wrong. Like
Mark
he's-
does.
Yeah, like
All right.
he's somewhere else in his
Post-coital,
memory.
he's like,
yeah.
oh shit.
Post-coital.
And he's not sure what to do. He's like, what's going on?
Jim
What am I-
Carrey's eyes open at one point too,
Oh, yeah,
and they
his
don't
eye-
notice
yeah,
because they're busy.
Flipping.
Fuckaloo.
Fucking
Yeah.
Fuckaloo. Fuckalee, fuckala, fuckaloo. Okay.
Oh, that red drink's nasty.
And so they
Sorry.
phone Tom Wilkinson's character, like the main doctor.
He's the
come to
older
help.
gentleman. He's the distinguished older man in this
Yeah.
plot.
Okay. And
So-
he's just at the lab.
No, he's like home sleeping because this
sleeping
is
with his-
overnight. They do
Oh,
this
sure,
overnight.
yeah.
So they phone him to come
Delinquents.
because something's going on, something's wrong, and they need the expert. So he comes.
I
He's
can
like,
smell the fucking whiskey over here. Holy shit.
You poured all three into your one.
Yeah, oh
it's,
my God.
it's not
That's the
good.
move, eh?
yeah,
We need some of this soda stream.
Oh my God.
Get
need
the
some
soda
soda
stream
stream.
up in here.
let's
Yeah,
get some
this,
spicy water up in
Some
there.
fizz.
This.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
Jesus. None for you.
And then he's all like, "Where's I don't even know the Elijah Wood character's name. Jeff.
Patrick.
Well, it's Patrick.
Fucking
Yes,
asshole.
it's
Hate him.
Patrick because
That's
Jim
the
Carrey
name of my
keeps hearing the
brother.
name.
Hate him.
Yeah, Jim Carrey keeps hearing the name
Such
like
an asshole.
Patrick.
Patrick said like that. Patrick.
Yeah, like something. What part was it when he says it the first time and he's like Patrick?
Patrick. He keeps saying Patrick.
Yeah, he keeps
in his
hearing
memory, Yeah. And that's
Because
the name.
Patrick's stealing all his fucking moves, and this is
Yeah.
like
Well,
Jim
also, when
Carrey's
Jim-
soul.
When Jim
Right.
Carrey shows
Literally.
Literally.
up to the bookstore and Clementine doesn't recognize him, and there's this younger man. He calls her. She calls him.
Yeah, she
Patrick.
goes, "Can I help you, sir?" to Jim
Yeah.
Carrey,
Wow.
and he's like,
Fucking cold.
Yeah.
but she literally doesn't remember him.
She doesn't know.
She had the surgery,
Yeah.
the procedure,
So she
procedure.
called Patrick.
I think so.
And that's
Yeah.
why
and then Patrick's there, and she's like, "Hi, baby,"
So you.
and then Jim Carrey's watching it,
That'd
and like
be
I guess he didn't
fucked.
have the surgery yet, or did he? And it
He must have
didn't
not.
work.
No, he hadn't had that. That's
He
like
hadn't had it.
that's
Okay.
just before he's getting.
Right. That's why he would think they were breaking up.
True, and then
Yeah.
it goes back to like when he was talking to his friends, and he's like, "I saw her at the bookstore, and she didn't know who I was."
Yeah, and there was some younger guy there.
Right.
Patrick.
And you never see his face. He's kind of half hidden between like a bookshelf.
Fucking Frodo Fro.
He's no Fro. No, he's actually got short hair and like fucking sideburns or something. In this movie. Like a chin. No, he's got a chin strap.
He makes you hate him.
Wow.
Well, this is also.
You're cheering
I
for
feel
Jim
like
Carrey.
this is like the
Yeah,
beginning
for
of
sure.
like. I mean, was this after? This is after Lord of the Rings, right? Or
I don't know.
2003.
Oh yeah, 2003. Yeah, so it's Return of the King was 2003. So like now this is like Elijah
shaved
Wood.
his head.
Elijah was like, I'm doing completely weird indie movies from now on.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, he's like, no more mainstream
Yeah.
for me.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Patrick now. I'm a cult indie classic.
So Tom Wilkinson shows up, and he's getting everything together. He's trying to he puts them back on track, and then
Yep.
and then Jim Carrey goes to like a regular memory of Clementine.
And might I add,
But then-
Mark Ruffalo's wheeling and dealing Kirsten Dunst this whole time.
Oh yeah,
Even while the guy's doing the procedure.
She's trying to be normal.
oh yeah, she's like hammered. They're like drunk. Yeah.
They're both
Oh.
hammered. They're trying to act normal around the older man
Yep.
Yeah.
because he's their boss.
Right.
And then Mark Ruffalo leaves.
Yeah, so Mark Ruffalo, no, so he thinks he fixed it. Tom Wilkinson's about to leave, and then Jim Carrey drags Clementine back to a different memory of his.
Okay.
And then it's
And
all
they're
going
like
off
on
the charts
computer,
again.
like
He's
da, da,
like,
da, da, da,
"Oh."
typing frantically.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's going back again." So Tom Wilkinson comes back, sits down, and is like goes back to work. And so Mark Ruffalo goes out to the like the van with all their equipment to like get some stuff, and Kirsten Dunst stays there and is like talking
this
about
friend's
how
intense.
this is where you go,
This
oh
is
shit.
like one of those other storylines. Like,
Yeah.
this has nothing to do with
No.
Clem and
No,
I have
nothing.
a
Yeah.
Feeling.
and
But-
Buddy.
But it's important. It's important to like what happens at the end of the movie.
Oh my
So
God.
she's like talking to him,
I got
and
to the shivs just
trying
now.
to
Ooh,
quote
that's wild.
like artistic or like
Nietzsche
intelligent
and all this shit.
and that she quotes and she says the title of the movie.
Yeah,
it's
she
from
quotes
a quote.
the one quote that says "Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind."
Right.
Yeah,
Because
it's from-
that's from a book or something.
It's from
right?
a 1717 poem by Alexander Pope.
And
Okay.
she calls him Pope Alexander, and she's all embarrassed.
She's embarrassed by it.
because
And
she's like, "Oh my god, I try
What
not
an
to call him
idiot.
that."
she's
because
nervous around him. She
blah,
kind of
blah."
looks up to him.
She looks up
Okay.
to him. He's an older man,
Yeah.
and then
Then she gets closer to him, and then suddenly she just like kisses him,
they're making
Uh-huh.
out,
and then they're like making out.
and Buddy's
Right.
out by the car.
And now, real quick, before Tom Wilkinson leaves his house.
Now I really
Yeah.
get it now.
So when this older man, before he leaves his house on the phone, we also see his wife, and his wife has this weird look on her face when he leaves.
Okay.
So now we're outside, and the wife shows up,
Oh,
and
come on.
Mark,
In
this
the
is,
window.
and Mark Ruffalo can see them kissing, and it's very clear like Mark Ruffalo is just like him and Kirsten Dunst are like, I don't know, he's not like upset by anything.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It's
really
like he's
care.
just fucking
he
her.
likes
She's
her,
just a
but like
hoe
not
to
enough
him.
to like sabotage
his job.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he like honks the horn to like get them to stop kissing,
'Cause
but
the
she
wife
sees
is
them.
there.
Yeah. Then they look over, and the wife's there, and
Yeah.
they're just like,
And they like run outside. She's like leaving, and he's like I'm so sorry. And then the Kirsten Dunst is like, I'm just a stupid girl. I just have a stupid crush. I'm so sorry. And then he's like, it'll never happen again. And she turns to him and is like, you better tell her the truth. And he's like,
the wife says that.
yeah,
To who?
To the older dude.
to the older dude.
You better tell
He's
her
like-
the truth.
She's like,
Yeah.
it's like it's
To the
This is
girl?
the first time it's ever happened. And then she goes like, no, you already had, and then like drove off. Or no, like
Yeah.
you can have him again or something.
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
yours or something.
Yeah,
And then she goes, "What?" And he's like, "You had the procedure
Yeah,
of him.
like
Of
they
him.
already
You had
they
the
already
procedure
had
of
an
him.
affair together.
Him and her were a thing."
Did he also do the procedure on himself?
No,
then?
no,
No,
just
no,
her.
He didn't.
She did.
She elected to have the procedure so that it didn't ruin the working relationship
Ah.
because she still wanted to work there and like gain the
Oh
knowledge
my
of
And
the
then
whole.
she stayed working
God.
there, and then she like
she still couldn't help herself.
no,
fell
it
for the
just
same
happened
guy.
again.
It happened
It's because
again.
it doesn't
Because-
matter. These
no.
false
This
Procedures won't
procedure's
work.
flawed. Yeah.
It just
won't
it'll
work.
just
That's
keep
why it's not a
happening
thing in
again.
real life because
Mm.
you can't.
You can't.
You
No,
can't erase
obviously.
that.
It's like toxic relationship. It just keeps
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then like he's like
Interesting.
So
he
she
tells her
yeah.
that it's she had it done and she's all fucking worried about it and thinking, did anyone know? And she asks Mark Ruffalo, did you know? Could
That
you
was
tell?
yeah. So she like drives.
Did you know?
She drives to the office and she's like looking at her files and stuff.
Yeah,
in
she
the
takes her
office.
files.
She
we
takes her
don't
file.
care about you though. We
But
care about
She doesn't.
We do,
We
yeah.
don't care about her.
Well, but it's important. So that's that happens like at night. But then we go back and now we're Tom Wilkinson gets Jim Carrey back on track.
Okay.
And
typing away,
typing away,
frantically typing,
and there's brain scans. It's all fake technology, but
it's lighting up.
It's real.
And
it's lighting up in the receptors.
Yes. And what happens is, so he gets him back on track, and basically it's nearing the end, and he brings Jim Carrey back to basically his final memory of Clementine, and it's when they first met.
Which is what?
They first meet, so we see Jim Carrey is like he's getting out of a van with his friends, like David Cross and the couple friends that he's talked to near the beginning. And it's like, I don't know, it's some weird, like they have like airplanes, like remote control airplanes or something. It's like a get together on a beach in Montauk. Same Montauk
same
beach. And it's like a get together with a bunch of people, but they're doing things. They're like flying gadgets or something. I don't remember.
Flying gadgets.
Again, it's also cold. It's still cold. It's not like super like warm. He like is like sitting eating, like it's a kind of a barbecue get together too, and Clementine's there too.
She is an invite to this barbecue.
She's there.
He's like up on this like a
boardwalk staircase from the beach eating, and she kind of walks up to him because she's the only one who doesn't know anyone else there. He doesn't really know anyone else there other than his friends, his two friends, and she has green hair in this scene.
Okay.
So
you guys,
cheers.
Well,
we're just drinking mixed now. So.
Now it's all the drinks, all the hair colors.
Fuck.
Okay, Google, turn the lamp to green.
Ooh.
Fucking get it.
There you go. There we go.
This is nice.
I can swear on this, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's listed as mature
explicit?
on Spotify. Explicit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first time they meet. They talk. She like immediately grabs a piece of his chicken and eats it.
What?
Yeah, like she's like, can I steal a piece of your chicken? And then already has it. And he's like, you already took it.
Yeah.
And he describes it. It's kind of his own internal narration as like it was so intimate.
Yeah, it was like an intimate moment.
So that's what drew him to her
so
right
then
away.
You almost wonder, like, this is something I'm still kind of perplexed about. Is like, when did they actually meet? It's like, did they meet at the party? Did they meet at the fucking train? Like,
no, so we know this is the first time they meet. Like, yeah, you start going like, oh. But because he says it like the first time we met, and it's
that's
like
true. And
that this is the final memory, and basically they spend the day on the beach, and then it's kind of later that night they break into like a beach house that's empty right now. And then he basically runs away, but it's kind of a mix. He's kind of like
just him.
What if I stayed? Like
they're at the thing, and she's like, just leave then.
Yeah.
Just leave then.
Yeah. And then like he just leaves.
That's the real memory. But in the memory, he kind of like is talking about what if I stayed or maybe I didn't leave. And
they actually communicate to each other because like I feel like since they both had the procedure, they can almost cheat it a little bit.
They've got like that weird,
they
like be like on walkie-talkies or something.
Yeah. Like they knew back then, part of them knew.
Yeah.
That it was going to be erased. Like they were starting to kind of start chasing away from it.
Yeah.
Chase the new memories so they don't get erased because they knew that they were so fucking in love. It's so cute. Like so cute. They were so in love.
And the house like disintegrates, falls apart. Like it literally like smashes apart. And the beach
and
like
she's
covers
like, what if you didn't leave? And he's like, I know, but you said it with such disdain. Like I should.
And she's like, I'm sorry.
Leave. And she's like, I'm sorry. And then he's like,
house crashes.
Yeah, the house starts breaking down and
and
it's heavy. This is when it starts to get heavy. I feel like you're just like, damn.
Yeah. And then I should say, because I realized this is the last memory of her he has. Just before that, he's at the Barnes and Noble. She has the green hair, and it's basically like the day after they first met.
Oh.
And he's like, I just can't get you out of my mind, and blah blah blah. And like, this is where their relationship kind of starts in the Barnes and Noble. And he like, and then it's back to him talking about like basically being like, oh, my memory's being erased. Like it's always like switching. You're always like, okay, this is what really happened, and then suddenly it breaks off, and he's talking about the present, about the memory. But this is a really cool scene. I love this scene because you notice very subtly, and then eventually it's like really big. All the book labels are disappearing.
Really?
Like like very subtly, and then by the end it's just blank books on the racks. But it's really cool.
That's so cool
because you don't notice it right away, and then suddenly a title starts disappearing on different books on the different like covers, and then suddenly it's like all the books just become blank.
Oh no!
Digitally, it's really cool.
So sad.
And that's the one thing.
And it makes you sad because like even though it's like such a destructive relationship and it's like such a like unhealthy thing, you can just tell that. like they just had that thing where they just kind of got each other. Like you could tell they were definitely in love, even though it didn't actually work.
Right.
And you're kind of rooting for them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so I wonder.
You know it's unhealthy.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if it's that. Why did they have to do that? I guess because it'd be so much easier for the movie for them to be a normal couple. But I guess it is. It's just a big metaphor for toxic relationships.
Pretty much. I think it is. Like I think it's like they're not really meant to be together, but they keep getting together, sort of thing, or they will.
It's
keep
like that,
together.
like love lust thing. It's like there's some sort of a pull.
But it is that thing too that they're not really fixing whatever it is that's with them. That's the issue, right?
Yeah,
that's why it's a cycle.
Yeah,
it's not a cycle because they're bound together.
And he lacks that.
Well, he lacks confidence.
Yeah.
He lacks any confidence.
And then she lacks that comfort of not trying to impress everyone.
Right. So I mean, in the end, they're
like
both
that
really
balance.
insecure.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to all the time. Every time.
Yeah. So the procedure ends. Like all the memories of her are gone.
Like gone.
Yeah. When basically when the house gets destroyed, like that's the last memory of her.
And like there's in the memories, a lot of the time there's the moment where they're like, wait,
Yeah.
you know, like there's like
Yeah.
Joel, Clem.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, like the memory's actually gone. But yes, now
Yeah.
we
And
gone.
So now
gone.
they pack up, they leave, everything's like that. We do see a scene between Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst. She's leaving the office with all her stuff. She's basically like quitting after she found this out. And she's like questioning, like, did you know? She's like, I saw you guys talking one time, but I didn't know. I didn't think it was anything. So I forgot about it. And it wasn't anything. And then she like leaves and she puts it's all these files she has and she puts them in their trunk.
See, like 3 bags or 3 fucking boxes of tapes and
Yeah.
files. And you
tons
know
of fun.
that's all the stuff that they erased.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's going to remember. It's like, that's why that's not a real thing in real life.
that's not good.
Because if you
Well,
had
yeah.
that happen,
Mhm. Yeah.
you'd
Yeah, it
be
could be
bound
anything.
to try and
You
figure
will
it out.
eventually,
You'll
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Right,
then-
but it is also like trying to repress a memory too. Like, yeah, it might work for a little bit, but as soon as you accidentally something happens, you
Yeah.
remember.
And like you can mail it to as many people. Don't tell them about so and so. It's gonna come up.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's not realistic.
It's not such a fucking
But it's
lie.
wild.
It is. Yeah.
It's wild.
It's a great concept.
Oh, it is.
Mhm.
And
Could be
so
a big money hit.
Joel wakes up like in his apartment, and we sort of kind of seen a repeat of the scenes we've already seen.
Right.
And like the
He goes
old dude just
outside.
resolved it. He finally fixed everything so Joel
Yeah.
could wake up
okay.
and they would be gone and it wouldn't be a big scene. Like they did it. They
At the last
cleared it
moment,
up.
yeah.
They got it.
So he wakes up.
They
It's
got
like nothing happened. He goes down. He sees his car. He writes the note, puts it on his neighbor, and he goes to the train station. He sees the train to Montauk, and something is telling him.
And he
needs
runs
to
and he
to
goes
Montauk.
to the fucking train.
So they go to the beach, and she also goes to Montauk. Something tells her she needs to go to Montauk.
Interesting.
And
And
then you kind of
they
think of when he said,
wait.
like,
She has
he's
blue
not
hair
impulsive.
now.
She has blue hair now. They meet for the first time again, both having their memories erased.
Okay, I think I got this. Okay.
So they meet, and they are, and then it's kind of they meet, and then that's the scene played out. It's like we've already seen this scene where
Yeah.
they're on the beach, on the train. They decide to hang out all night, and then they have a great night on the ice. And they go to. And
Do
then
they actually see it all again?
No, we don't see it, but we know that that's what happened because
Right.
it's the start of the movie
Yeah, yeah.
again. He pulls outside, and it's just kind of like the tail end of that scene after Elijah Wood says, "What are you doing here?"
Oh.
And you see her like more in depth running up to get her toothbrush. She's checking
Yeah.
everything. And then she presses play on her voicemail.
Well, she sees Elijah Wood, and she like pushes him away. She doesn't like. Basically, she's breaking up with Elijah Wood in this scene
Got
too.
you.
because they overlap the timelines. And
Yeah.
then like she presses play on her voicemail and Elijah Wood's like, hey, Clem, like, oh, just tell me like what I did wrong. I just want to know what I did wrong. And all this. And she's like, shut up. She's running around her apartment getting her toothbrush. Shut up.
And she grabs her
And she's
mail.
trying
There's
to
a letter
run.
for her.
Yeah,
as
there's a
well.
letter from fucking, what's it called?
Well, it's a pretty thick letter, and it's from Lacuna.
Lacuna.
So they get it. He gets back to the car. They're driving away. Now this is a new scene we've never seen, but this is
Okay.
now present day.
Ooh,
but
now
it's like
present
2
time.
in 1. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moment from the beginning, but
Yeah.
now Elijah Wood's there and
you have
he's
the
relevant.
backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just walked away from that.
Yeah,
though.
he kind of just walked away.
But
And
he's like telling Mark Ruffalo at one point he's in love with her. He fell in love with her during the procedure.
You don't
Just the
fucking
look.
know.
Weirdo.
Fucking weirdo.
he's a creep. He's a creep show.
Ugh.
He's got he's got like hairy feet, but in a
100%.
bad way. You know?
100%
Feet
creep.
in a bad
100% creep.
Yeah.
Ew.
So they're driving. She gets the letter, and it's like it's from Kirsten Dunst's character,
What the
and
fuck
basically
is
Kirsten Dunst has mailed out literally every client they ever had to say like you erased your memories, our company erased your memories, and she mails this out because she believes the whole company's unethical at this point. Like it's
because she's now
that
realized
she's realized that it happened to her.
yeah
but she would have willingly.
yeah
asked for
exactly,
it,
but
though.
it's kind of so
But that's like life, right?
Classic.
It gives you like a perspective on life because you're like
Yeah.
in the moment, like when you first experience something hard like that, you want to erase it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
you shouldn't
no
Right.
because
that's the whole
of
point.
Because
This
it's the
movie.
lesson that you learn.
exactly
And basically
lessons.
what Tom
Life
Wilkinson gets them to say on this tape
Lessons.
recorder is kind of describe the relationship and like why you want to erase memories. So they basically
Ooh,
are
that's-
describing.
Wait. Sorry, the
So-
letter says.
So in the process
Hold
of this
on.
whole thing, but the letter says this is what happened to you, and there's a tape of because in the beginning for the process he records your name and like gets you to tell basically everything about this person you're trying to forget, and then it also but also the reasons why. So they're basically saying all
You
the faults
basically
and
rip them apart.
apart, right?
right.
So she puts the tape in because they think
On
it's a
the-
practical
in
joke.
the
They're like,
car.
"Are you fucking with me?" Like, no, are you fucking with me? Like, they don't know what's going on.
Overlap.
Yeah.
It's like their first date. Also,
Kirsten Dunst
somehow
does not
overlaps.
get to choose for those people to hear that shit, though.
Well, she did. She sent it to everyone.
Fucking bitch.
So they play the tape, and basically it's Clementine ripping apart Jim Carrey's character.
What does she say?
Just how like he something along the lines of like not risk taking.
Yeah, and also
Something
like
like
he's
that.
manipulative or like that like wounded puppy.
Oh
like,
yeah. How he
act
always,
is
like,
all
looks at
it's
her
just
like,
an act, and
"Eh," like,
you know he's not good for you. All these other things, kind of thing.
and then like he then
So then-
shortly after.
So then he gets really upset at what she's saying, and she's all upset.
like, "I
She's
didn't
not
know."
like, what is this? And then he basically kicks her out of his car
Okay.
and like drives away, goes home. And he gets home. He also gets a letter, and he also has a tape. And then we kind of cut. Kate Winslet shows up.
and
Clementine
also at
shows
this
up,
point,
yeah.
like prequel, they both don't know like their relationship at this point.
Yeah, they didn't.
They both
yeah.
have it erased, but they
Mhm.
both like
Are
she
drawn
finds
to the
him
person.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then she's at his house.
Hearing the
he's
tape
playing
as
the
well about,
So he already heard the tape in her car.
Yep.
but
and
he's
then-
playing his tape, so
now he's
now
playing
he's
his
ripping her
tape.
apart on tape,
Right.
and they're like,
What does he
they're
even
kind
say,
of
though?
apolo-
He brings up the same thing that he said before about her. Like, if she wants someone to like
Oh.
her, she just fucks them.
yeah, and
But
the hair
how does-
color changing just an act. It's just for attention,
it's
all this
just-
other stuff.
It means
You know,
nothing. The stupid hair.
basically
color,
all their kind of
like-
personality faults are the things they found wrong with relationship. He's like bringing the light, she's bringing the light, and they're like kind of like yelling at each other, but apologizing to each other because they don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
That they figure it out. They know what this company did, or like I guess they were together. But through all that, they figured they're meant to be together almost.
Yeah,
because
like
they found each other.
She leaves in a huff because she's hearing like what he all said about her, how her hair is fake, and she just fucks people to get them to love her and all
Mm.
this. And then she's walking down the hall, and then he walks out, and he's like, "Just wait," and she's like, "For what?" And he's like, "Just wait." And then like they have that moment where they're like, they just know that there's something there. Like all their
Mhm.
memories are erased, but there's just that like kind of a soul connection type thing.
Mhm.
And then like she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay, like you'll actually wait?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then he says like, "You're gonna get bored of me. You already know, like you're gonna get bored of me. Like I'm not adventurous, whatever." And then like she goes, "Well, I'm gonna find that I get bored of you, and then I'm gonna just leave you because that's what I always do." And then he goes, "Okay." And then she's like, "Okay."
Okay, yeah.
And then they both just start
And
laughing.
they laugh, and they and then they end up they go to the
fucking-
beach on Mount
They go to
Tack,
the beach.
and then I think at the end they're on the beach walking, but then it just keeps repeating.
yeah.
Huh?
So I think that shot is to say like this keeps happening,
Hmm.
right? Or I don't know. You know
And
what I mean?
yeah, and they just found like even without the memories, they found the connection still.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I don't know.
Everybody's gotta learn something.
I understand, like, it's weird because it's funny because it's got that happy ending, I guess. But then with what your thoughts are on it being a metaphor, it's like that's not really a happy ending.
Yeah, it's all like, yeah.
It's destructive.
I feel like, yeah.
But what else were they gonna do, really?
I feel like this
They
was the
could have
movie.
fucking
I
talked.
think this is a movie that like 500
Maybe.
Days of Summer wanted to be.
Oh, that movie pissed me off a lot.
It's like a forbidden love.
Yeah, it's like,
Like they shouldn't have got together to begin with. They did it anyway.
but like
They
that.
got it erased
yeah.
and then they still went back.
Yeah, but like that movie, I feel like the message gets lost in this movie by people who are like, I just want to be like Clementine. Like, I just want to
Yeah.
be that relationship. And you're like, no, you shouldn't want to be like that
No.
relationship.
No, it's like a codependent.
Yeah, it's very
unhealthy.
Yeah, well, it's just too like
Well, they're
unhealthy
looking for
people
what they don't have in
using each other as
right?
their rocks, and they can't be because they're not healthy.
Because, yeah,
Like,
not
They're
even
not
that. Like
stable.
nobody
yeah, they're not stable.
that can't work for any relationship.
In a way, watching it, it's kind of like that's what makes it like a cute love story, is because like they have these faults, and as far as they're concerned, they're not going to work on them. It's not going to be changed, but they're okay with it. So
Yeah.
that's like the moment at the end where you're kind of like, like this is so cute, like
Yeah,
because
I guess
it's not necessarily goals. It's not
not
something that
goals.
you would think like that's my.
It's not
that's what
hashtag relationship goals.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's not that. But like at the same time, you're like, Clementine's fucked up.
Yeah.
Joel's fucked up. God only knows neither of them is gonna work on it.
Yeah.
So
At
why not be
least,
together?
Why not?
And they prevailed through this fucked up lacuna shit.
That was the movie.
that was the shortest.
That's
I
been the
think
shortest
our-
recording,
what
mostly
was
because
that?
there's no way we
It's
could
so
actually
hard
go
to
in order and
chronologically do
remember
that.
what
But-
happens.
I'm watching that tonight.
But like, can we commend the performances of Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet?
Oh yeah,
in this?
they're great, yeah.
They nailed it.
And
Like,
the movie is good. It's
it's a
not
great
like this
movie.
movie is not like lauded as like
spending
a
on
not a
this
good movie or
And it's a
having
trip.
like a I don't. It's not like because 500 Days of Summer people are like, oh, I hate
Hated that movie.
movie.
Hated it. I hate that.
Like most
I could
people
do
go
without
like,
it.
this is a great movie.
I
It's
could do without it.
it's a good movie. It's a good one. And yeah, you got Mark Ruffalo, Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten
who's-
Dunst.
Grandma hates Kirsten.
Man hates her.
She honestly does.
It's the face.
So she
That's
never. She hated Jumanji, or she just hated that
Wait,
little girl
I
in
don't know if she's seen
Jumanji.
that.
Oh. We'll have Nan on
I
next
didn't-
time.
Yeah.
Bring Nan on. We'll do Jumanji.
Talk about
'Cause
Kirsten
I have
Dunst.
seen
Oh
it.
my god, she'd be like, I hate her.
She wouldn't even want to hear anything about the
No,
movie.
she'd be like, am I seriously
"Stop."
here
What kind
to
of
talk
grandma?
about this?
What kind of, how old a grandma would she be like? That's a
86.
hussy, or would
That's
she?
a hussy.
Yeah, she'd be like, no, she just doesn't like Kirsten Dunst's face, man.
That face.
She just don't like her face.
That's why Spider-Man kissed her upside down.
Yeah.
You see things different.
It's the only way it works.
Yeah. Would you like to? Would you like to plug something?
It's TayLynn. I'm a musician. I got an EP on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Apple Music, Deezer. If anyone has that.
Ooh, what
I
is
don't
that?
know
What is
that
Deezer?
I have no clue.
Is
but I'm
that
on
is that a streaming service made by
I think
Weezer?
it's like a weird,
be
like
amazing.
Android that doesn't exist phone,
Oh.
and it comes on it.
Oh, great.
So
Oh,
get
so
it.
you're like you too. You just showed up.
I just
On
kind of like implanted myself into everyone's phone.
That pissed me off.
The EP is called They Know.
Because
TayLynn, TayLyn.
And where can we follow you on social
You
media?
can find me on social media. You can find me on Instagram. It's TayLynn MC. TayLynn MC. Same thing on Twitter. If anyone still tweets, I'm tweeting all the time.
Oh,
she
tweet
has
My
the
Twitter
teeth.
rants. My Twitter rants are fire.
Are they political, celebrity?
Nah, they're just
funny?
my life.
Okay.
They're me bitching about
They're just
snooze, bitching about how I hit snooze too many times. Talking about munch. I like wings. I like IPAs.
God.
I really like that shit. I like pasta. I like tacos. I really like tacos.
So mostly Taylor's Twitter is.
My Twitter and
Is what
I
you
got
like
some like retweets
food-wise.
about like God. Like, we got some spiritual shit up in there. We got some retweets. We got some food munch tweets. We got music tweets.
You can find our podcast. You can find our podcast on Spotify.
Oh yeah, Spotify for sure.
And Google
Spotify.
Podcasts, Castbox, mostly anywhere you find your podcast. And hopefully by the time this episode airs, iTunes. So you can find us at Haven't Seen a Podcast anywhere. Facebook, Instagram.
Google us.
Google us, yeah.
Fucking Google us.
If you haven't seen it,
Neither have I.
look it up.
So
Neither has Alanka.